Hello and welcome to the Sports Inter YouTube channel. I'm here today talking about the big news coming out of Old Trafford that Man United, well, shall we say, Ineos, have axed Alex Ferguson from his ambassador role. This will commence at the end of this season, going into the new season. So Alex Ferguson will no longer be an ambassador at Man United. Big news this. I ain't got a dog in this fight, obviously not a Man United fan, but I'm keen to know what Man United fans think of this. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? You know, pros and cons to this I don't see it from a financial point of view. Look, it cost Man United apparently £2 million a year. I mean, what's £2 million to Man United per annum? It's absolutely fuck all. So they're not saving anything from a financial point of view. He's still going to be a non-exec director, I believe. So he's still going to be in and around the club, which doesn't make sense to me because I get it from a point of view that if they're trying to move on from Ferguson, and look, I hark back to my own kind of personal experiences when you've got the legends still looming over the club, still in there all the time. I never had that, but at Liverpool, you know, we always talked about Paisley and Bill Shankly, and whilst I was growing up, you know, there was never alive to be still in and around the club. We always hark back to his history. Oh, well, you know, his history this. We had 18 titles at the time, 18 titles this, 18 titles that, you know, for European Cups. That's all we used to go on about as history. And look, it took us 30 years to basically get to where we are now, winning and competing for the major trophies. And Man United are in a similar sort of position probably over the last 10 years, really. You know, they've turned into a bit of a cup team. And that's not me slagging Man United off. Look, in the day, I've been through it. I've lived through it. The majority of my childhood, or even coming to my adolescent years, Liverpool was pretty much just known for picking up the odd cup here and there. So I do get it. And maybe Ineos are thinking, look, as much as this guy is an absolute legend, we can never replace him, but ultimately we have to kind of step away from Fergie a little bit. You hear it all the time on TalkSport and you know, news channels like and fan channels such as this one. We all talk about Man United and harking back to that's not the Man United way of playing football. Fergie didn't play like this, you know, the Beckham, Scholes, Giggs era and all this kind of stuff. They're gone, I'm afraid to say. And again, I speak from my own personal experiences, but those years are gone. You've got to let them go. You can't keep reverting to the past and history and keep saying, oh, well, we did this then, we did this then, we didn't do this under Fergie. And I'm wondering whether Ineos have just thought, do you know what? This probably ain't going to sit well with most Man United fans. And I reckon there'll be some fans that, when you actually sit and think about it, it does make sense. Look, the guy's not getting any younger. He probably needs to... He probably needs to take a step back, and ultimately he would never do it voluntarily. So ultimately they probably had a conversation and said, look, we need to maybe just move away from Alex Ferguson a little bit, not get the guy away from the club, because we're never going to take away his legacy, we're never going to take away the history, but we need to move on from that now. And you see it all the time when Man United are playing, if they go a couple of goals down, the cameras, they always pan to Fergie. And look, again, from a fan's point of view, he's quite funny to watch. But from a Man United fan's point of view, do you need to start moving on from Alex Ferguson now? Do you need to think, yeah, great, we had those years, but we need to move forward, and until we kind of cut the strings, cut the ties, and stop living in the past, stop living in the fact that, you know, in the 90s and early 2000s, we used to win all these league trophies. And look, you did. You were an absolute amazing club. You had amazing players, amazing manager. You were the best. And I keep hearing all the time now on TalkSport about one of the best clubs in the world, Man United, the biggest clubs in the world. Well, I'm sorry to say, but in my eyes, they're nowhere near that anymore. They're absolutely nowhere near it. I think at this moment in time, correct me if I'm wrong, but are they sitting 13th or 14th in the league, something like that? You know, I think we're 7 games in. That's kind of... Man United are, shall we say, scrapping for Europa League places team at this moment in time. They're on a par with Spurs, I dare say Brighton, maybe West Ham a little bit. They're in amongst that pot of clubs that are scrapping around the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th places in the Premier League. And again, this isn't me taking the piss out of Man United. This is just stating facts. That's where they are. You're picking up a few cups here and there, and your manager's fucking living forever and a day off that. But ultimately, that's not where you want to be. But you're nowhere near where you want to be. And I think potentially Ineos have come in and they probably knew that this potentially might upset a lot of the fan base. But ultimately, they've got to move forward. They're in there to take that club forward. They're not in there to look at the past and think, oh, well, we did this then and we won that then and we won that. They're like, no, okay, we can take good things, what we did from a business point of view from the past, but ultimately, the world's completely moved on. Football's moved on so much since then, and they wanted to take the club forward, not backwards. And I think as long as Fergie is like the messiah of over Old Trafford, just looming, is there all the time, I don't think a lot of fans, the media, pundits, they're never gonna move on. You hear Gary Neville talk about all the time about on his overlap, and look, I love that show. I think it's one of the best shows about. But because him and Roy Keane are in there, they're always talking about back in their days. Well, look, guys, I'm sorry to say, but it ain't your day anymore. This is today's the day, and Man United have got to go forward if they want to start competing for trophies again. And look, let us know in the comments what you think, guys, especially Man United fans. Is this a good move from Ineos? Is it a bad move from Ineos? What's the vibe around Old Trafford today after this news has broken out? Let us know in the comments below. Smash that thumbs up button if you like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out and it helps the channel move forward. So yeah, do all that, guys. Let us know what you think, and we'll catch you on the next one. See you later.